Okay, everybody, now what we want to talk to you about is a very controversial appliance that is in the home that is absolutely necessary and is very much misunderstood personally by myself and my plumber. So we are not alone in getting our education corrected by Gord. Gord, do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Controversial. It's such a simple product. It's a piece of copper that you can see here with another piece of copper wrapped around it. It's a heat exchanger that's been used in commercial applications, boiler plants for literally centuries, and yet now we're applying it in houses. Imagine this. You just spent money on heating hot water. You're standing in the shower, and maybe you're like me, a geek, and you're wondering, where's that hot water going? Well, it's actually going down this pipe. You just heated it, paid for it, and now it's running down the drain. And it's going into the sewer system and basically heating Westport. You go, well, that's a bit of a waste. What this device is doing, as the wastewater is going down, it creates a bit of a spiral on this pipe. It goes into this copper drain pipe. At the same time, we bring the cold water in that otherwise would go to the water tank, and we wind it up around this one. So as the water is cold here, you can actually feel it's one of the coolest things, right? Yeah. Your salespeople, and if you're visiting watercolors, but by all means, just come down, have them run the shower, and you'll find the water's cold here. And when you put your hand here, after the shower's been running a minute or so, this is warm. This little simple device, I call it simple, you said controversial, this is recovering between 40 and 50% of the temperature difference between the hot water, which is typically 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cold street water that's roughly 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're recovering 50% of that. Isn't that kind of cool? And so instead of the water heater having to heat all the way up from 50 degrees all the way up to 110, now it only has to heat up half the way. Simple device. You said controversial because it's new for plumbers. It's a shiny pipe. I got to change the plumbing a little bit. It takes us a little while to get used to it. Lots of builders now doing this, but still not understanding the true benefit of it. And again, it makes total sense in that net zero ready concept where I'm trying to get as with simple choices, trying to get as efficient as I can so I have to put on less solar panels in the end. We know the price of energy is going to go up. Why wouldn't we use waste heat to manage our energy bills? Waste heat. Let's get rid of the waste.
Well, speaking of cost, can you talk to us, Gord, about the cost of the average home builder in a 1,200 square foot bungalow or a 1,400 square foot bungalow building to net zero ready standards on the performance and the product path, and the overall return on investment for a client on their mortgage, as you shared with us this morning?
Yeah, it's really powerful to understand that, of course, people are going to say, well, what does it cost? At what cost? I want to remind, and I think we've already mentioned it, you're getting a healthier home because of the ventilation. You're getting a warmer home because of the insulation in the floor and the better windows. You're getting a healthier because of the condensation resistance of the windows. Lots and lots of benefits. But of course, we're going to ask, what's the cost? What's the incremental cost? And of course, it is going to vary by location, technologies chosen, but here's what we know for sure. Builders across North America, when we cost out the various incremental elements, and as you know, you've had choices, right? You get to decide and optimize. I'll use that word, optimize. But what we would say is I got to do something to the attic, something to the walls, something to the basement, got to put in that better mechanical system, the better windows. The incremental cost most builders are telling us is in the $10,000 to $15,000 range to do the enclosure stuff. And then another for that heat pump, another $4,000 to $5,000. So we're talking about at maximum $20,000 to get to net zero ready. $20,000. On today's interest rates, fortunately, and they're going to go up, but at today's interest rates, that's about $4 per thousand per month. Okay, so $20,000, $4 per thousand, that'd be $80 a month. And what the promise is, and we know to be true, is that your energy bills are going to come down by about $90 to $100 a month. So the price of the home goes up $20,000, but the cost of ownership actually goes down slightly. Now, nobody's going to buy a house because it saves them $20, but imagine this. You get a better house, healthier, safer, more durable, more comfortable, and more efficient, and it costs you roughly the same dollars each month. This was the promise of the Energy Star program in the United States and the Net Zero program here by CHPA. You get a better house for roughly the same dollars. At today's energy prices, And then what's happening 10 years from now, you'd go, oh boy, am I ever glad I made that decision. And we all love that old Chinese proverb, right? When's the best time to plant a tree? And the answer was 20 years ago. And the second best time is now. So I get to play a little bit of, you should have done it years ago, to those on this camera. 30 years ago, I built an R2000 house, and my neighbors at the time said, what is the cost? How much was it? And what are your energy bills? My energy bills 30 years ago were half of what my neighbors were. 30 years ago, they all said, yeah, but I don't know how long I'm going to live here. They're still all there. Jeremy's there, Dan's there. And every now and again, we get together and look at our energy bills. My energy bills are still half of their energy bills. And yet the price, of course, their bills are much higher in terms of the relative amount. And that investment has paid itself over 3-4 times. And in the meantime, my house is quieter, it's healthier, and so on. So not to sound like a know-it-all, but I'm going to say to you, never been a better time to make this decision. Is that a fair statement?
It is. And can you also tell the story about the home builder that has spoken at your spring training camp?
Right.
Gene, I believe his name.
Yeah, Gene Myers from Thrive Communities down in Denver. And Gene spoke at our building science camp that we host every spring. And in that same vein, builders would say, well, it's a 20-year investment. I can sell houses without this. Well, of course you can. And Gene's thought was this. He stood up at the very beginning. This guy builds 260 net zero ready houses a year in a Denver market. He goes, I know the Toronto market. My major investors from Toronto. I know how busy you guys are. You're very similar to the Denver market. You can sell everything you can build. And everybody's nodding their heads. And you can sell it without net zero, or you could sell it with. He said, I'm going to give you a little presentation on why you should sell it with. It's not a question of whether you can sell this. If you build it, people will buy it. He said, imagine this. Imagine you have fewer building science issues, fewer defects, because people are happy in their houses. You have homeowners who love the house that they're living in. You have trade contractors who feel really good about their response to the the environmental needs. He said, you can build it with it, or you could build it without. Which one do you choose? Which one should you choose? And it's kind of interesting, right? It's just a mindset. It's just to say, I can do this. Gene said to the crowd, it took me about 18 months to get to the point where I could build this reliably, and my trades actually enjoy building this house more because they know they have fewer callbacks.
And in a roundabout kind of way, that's why we started with environmental stewardship. And we think this video series is going to end talking about environmental stewardship. Because if we really want to save the planet, I think we all have a role to play in building high-performance homes that will last 250 years. We can't afford to be building houses the wrong way. We just don't have that much time. So why not step up to the plate if you're a home builder and investigate and partner with Building Knowledge to build homes a better way. You can give your customers more and better, as people are experiencing here at Watercolor Westport. So thanks for joining us on this journey.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.